everyone and welcome. This is Agnieszka, joined by my business partner Marta Mikiewicz. We are excited to have you with us today. We are here to discuss the Hy-EDU project, which is set to reshape how we educate engineers in hydrogen technologies. It's great. A pleasure to have Professor Marcin Lutyński with us from the Silesian University of Technology. As a reminder, Professor Lutyński is the project coordinator and the Silesian University of Technology leads the international consortium. Professor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Professor.
Pleasure to be with you.
Professors, to start us off, could you briefly introduce the role of the Silesian University of Technology in our Hy-EDU project?
Yeah, so hello again. It's really nice to have this interview, to have this short video on the Hy-EDU project. So of course the Hy-EDU project is started almost 1.5 years ago. And Silesian University of Technology is the coordinator and the lead partner of the project. And of course, our role as a coordinator is to manage the work of the international consortium and to connect the project outcomes with the engineering education. So this is something that we want to do and highlight in the project. Of course, we do have some expertise, particularly in geoengineering, underground storage, hydrogen transport, and also industrial applications. And based on the project findings, we can see that these areas are particularly relevant because, of course, hydrogen transport and storage are still not sufficiently represented in many of the engineering curricula. And that was the aim of the project, to integrate the elements or the whole value chain in the engineering curricula related, of course, to hydrogen. So what is also important, I think, is that as a technical university, the largest technical university in our region, which is, of course, densely populated, very industrialized, it was the old coal basin. Well, it still exists as a coal basin, but of course on a smaller scales. We are undergoing energy transition. So I think our university is one of the entities that is to some extent responsible for the, let's say, a smooth energy transition that is happening right now.
That sounds like a great opportunity. Why it's so critical today to educate future engineers about hydrogen transport and storage?
I think the background of the project, the motivation for the project started when we've noticed that in many of, well, not many, but maybe in some of the subjects that are taught at the universities, we do have only small parts of the hydrogen value chain. So basically, if you teach a chemical engineer, he knows more or less how an electrolyzer works, but in fact, he's not really conscious. He doesn't really know what's the aim of the hydrogen as an energy carrier, let's say. So he doesn't know what is the full value chain of the hydrogen. So therefore, we thought that it's really a good idea to show a broader scope related to hydrogen transport and storage. And of course, one of the parts of the project was to check whether there are some gaps in the curricula of different universities and different fields of study. And this preliminary analysis confirmed that hydrogen transport and storage and distribution are often missing or are insufficiently developed in the existing engineering program. So I think that this is one of the important outcomes of the project, that we have identified the gaps and mismatches between those programs. And therefore, based on that, we can further develop some guidelines and some programs that can help to introduce those elements in engineering programs. So I think this is the key challenge that we were facing, and that's very important for let's say a European engineer, which is something that we want to develop, in fact.
That makes the perfect sense, given that we understand why hydrogen transport and storage are so critical for the engineering transition. Let's shift our focus on the people behind the technology. So, Professor, looking at the next generation of engineers, what are the key skills they will need to effectively work with hydrogen systems?
Yeah, so this is a very, I guess, good question, because we need to see what is needed by the industry, because they are the ones who will later in the future receive the product of our education, which means in engineers. So this is something that we need to bear in mind when we educate students. So in fact, the second work package of the project was devoted to identify the gaps, and also to see what experts think about those gaps. So we did a Delphi study to see what are the most important skills for future engineers. So we had 21 experts, both from the industry and from academia. So it was not only focused on academics, because they see a different perspective. I mean, they rather prefer to design a curriculum, but it's not often based on the industry needs. So our idea was to actually verify if the experts say what are their needs. So based on the Delphi study, we see that safety competences are one of the most important skills for the future engineers working with hydrogen. So I mean, they stress that they need to understand hydrogen's specific properties, for example, high flammability, wide explosive range, this small particle that can diffuse through different materials. So those safety aspects are pretty important, but I also show the importance of knowledge related to hydrogen storage technologies. So in many cases, we've noticed that if someone is working on the, let's say, downstream side of the hydrogen value chain, so the users of hydrogen, he doesn't actually know how to store it on a large scale, or how to use pipelines to transport the hydrogen, or whether there are some big pipelines that can transport it through many countries in Europe, so as the hydrogen backbone. They also pointed out that hydrogen applications and integration of hydrogen with other energy systems are the key areas for the engineer of the future. So this is something that we need to see. Also, some not really common, let's say, technologies such as geological hydrogen, so something which is not conventional, should be also highlighted in some of those curricula. But also important aspects are costs, policy, regulations, and of course some aspects of the EU hydrogen strategy, because we do speak about the hydrogen and hydrogen on the level of European economy, but in fact none of us knows a lot about the EU hydrogen strategy. So in other words, we not only need the technical skills that are often already existing in the teaching programs, but we also need to understand broader aspects related to how hydrogen, such as economy and regulatory context as well. So this is something, I guess, that that is an important outcome of the project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you said, what we expect from our project is to fill the gaps in hydrogen, in green hydrogen competences like safety, technical, economic competences, and identify key qualifications and skills for the education of future engineers. And as you mentioned, know this whole value chain of green hydrogen. So now let's skip from the skills of the future to a topic directly related to this one, the impact of the Hy-EDU project. How do you think the Hy-EDU project will contribute to Europe's transition towards a hydrogen-based energy system?
Yeah, well, the idea, of course, I mean, it's not a huge European project, but we do have consortium partners that are spread across the Europe. And of course, that's not accidental that we have chosen to form this consortium. So, you know, we reach from the north of Europe, like Estonia, through Central Europe, Poland, Germany, and then Southern Europe. So this is University of Brescia. So I think the project as such contributes to Europe's hydrogen transition by addressing the educational gap behind the technological development. So we do confirm, the results confirm that current engineering curricula need to be better aligned with the EU hydrogen strategy, and that's something that we have noticed. Now, based on that, we can adjust some of the programs that are within the partner consortiums. I'm not saying that this is the main impact of the project right now or right at the end of the project, but in the future, we will provide some tools that can help to adjust and to change the teaching programs in the universities that are partners currently in the Hy-EDU, but also on a broader scale. And for that purpose, we hooked up with the Hy Academy project, a large European initiative of universities that do teach on hydrogen. So I think that will help to spread and to increase the impact of the Hy-EDU project on the European level. So I think based on that, we can develop curriculum recommendations and, of course, an education platform which is already created, and there will be a MOOC course focused on the hydrogen transport.
So with references to tools which we mentioned, another important goal of our project and one of our activities is to create and implement a massive open course in the large-scale hydrogen transport and storage. Could you please tell us more about the MOOC development with the Hy-EDU project, and what is the contribution of your Silesian University to the course, and who are the main target groups?
Yeah, so this is one of the, let's say, practical outputs of the Hy-EDU project. So it's really something that will be a direct effect of the Hy-EDU project results. So it will be focused especially on hydrogen transport and storage, but of course on the broader aspects as well. We will have two levels. So in fact, somebody who has a basic engineering, let's say, education, but not only engineering. I think somebody who's not really an engineer, but let's say a student of the first year, or even a high school student of the NDS could actually start the MOOC course. And there will be two levels, so one for the beginners and one for the more advanced students. So we will have 8 modules. So in order to finish the beginner's course, you need to finish 4 of the first modules, whereas for the second course, you need to, for the more advanced course, you need to actually finish all the 8 modules of the Hy-EDU MOOC course. Now, when we speak about who does what and what are the specific modules that we are planning to do, so we have divided the contents between, of course, partners. Let's say the introduction to the hydrogen properties, production, and the whole value chain will be done by the Freiburg University. We, together with Technical University of Tallinn, with Taltech, we will create, or we are creating a content related to natural and stimulated hydrogen. The transport, the hydrogen transport, shipping, and storage is covered by the Silesian University of Technology, by our group. So, but the underground storage will be covered by Tallinn. And then in the advanced levels, there will be some more in-depth analysis of the hydrogen value chain, so modeling selection of hydrogen storage sites, which will be done by Freiberg, monitoring safety risk assessment, and this is the content that will be developed by the University of Brescia, policy and regulations, and also techno-economic aspects as well, developed by the University of Brescia, and the synergy of hydrogen with carbon neutral technologies, so something directly related to energy transition, which will be done by the TalTech as well. So those are in a nutshell, those 8 modules that we are planning to develop and are in the process of development. Actually, they are, let's say, on the final stage of finishing, and then we will upload them on the platform. So anyone can have an access to the platform and see what is the content. We are working on micro credentials that could be obtained after the course. So I think this is something that that is important for the results of the project.
Okay, so as I understand, these 8 modules are directed for 3 main target groups: engineering students, industry professionals, and general public, as I suppose. So
I guess the general public would be the beginner course is suitable for the general public, whereas like engineers and professionals could easily go for the advanced level.
Great. Thank you. So now question about the expert heart of the project, our international collaboration, because Hy-EDU brings together several international partners, your Silesian technology, but also University of Tallinn from Estonia, University Freiberg from Germany, University from Brescia in Italy. And we want to exchange this education experience related to hydrogen large-scale transport and storage in various Europe countries. So, in your opinion, how does this collaboration contribute to the development of the course?
So, when somebody looks at first on the composition of the consortium, he might be a bit surprised because some of the partners, they have different backgrounds. I mean, in fact, we are all technical universities, at least the persons involved in or the departments involved in the project. But in fact, I mean, we do have different backgrounds. Maybe like the Germany, the Freiberg Academy, they have similar background to our Silesian University of Technology, because we do have this mining heritage, we can say. Estonia is more like a typical geology department, at least the one that is cooperating with us, and the Italy that has more experience in industry-related issues. So it's more like industrial engineering, management, production management, rather than, of course, geology or mining or geoengineering as a broad aspect. But you see, I think we have a very complementary consortium, and we should not forget about, of course, your company that that also brings a different perspective for us, a more like a commercial, more, let's say, soft look on those aspects that are very important right now, right? So of course, ESG is something that is really important right now, circular economy and so on. So we also integrate those issues in the teaching content. So I think from this perspective, we do have a very complementary consortium, and these results, the project results, are stronger because they combine perspective from different countries, universities, and professional environment, which is, I think, a very important added value of the project. So this collaboration also allows us to compare curricula, identify common gaps, and define, let's say, shared priorities for the hydrogen education.
Mm-hmm. So, as you said, the complementary consortium is our Hy-EDU strength.
Yes, I think this is something that made the Hy-EDU project financed by the agency. I think this is a very strong point for the project.
Great,
it really shows in the quality of the content. So finally, Professor, what key knowledge will participants gain from the course?
My understanding is that participants will gain a structured understanding of hydrogen transport and storage within the broader hydrogen value chain. So they will understand how it should all work. I cannot say that how it all works because, in fact, hydrogen is still more like an emerging technology rather than an industry-ready solution, at least on a large scale. They will also learn why storage, transport, infrastructure, and safety are critical for the practical deployment of hydrogen technologies. They will also be familiar with some key storage options, like a large-scale storage option, which is not a very common knowledge, I'd say. This will also include underground hydrogen storage. Of course, safety challenges, as it was indicated by the Delphi study, will be also a key component of the course, and they will also have some, or they will gain some awareness of the EU hydrogen strategy and the role of hydrogen in the Europe's energy transition, which is, I guess, a very important right now. So the consortium will help also participants to connect the technical knowledge with real engineering policy and also some market challenges that, of course, hydrogen is nowadays facing, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing your experience with us today. It's been an inspiring conversation. Thank you to our audience for watching, and follow the Hy-EDU project, and see you the next time.
Thank you very much. It was a really pleasure to speak about the Hy-EDU project, and check our social media and website. So I hope we are constantly transferring some important information on the hydrogen. So looking forward to see you on our LinkedIn or Facebook page.
Yes,
thank you very much.
YouTube channel.
Yes, and the YouTube channel. That's it. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.